These conditions that we live in, they're not easy. But you had better endure it. You had better fight it. On.
Verse 13. For the entrances of the elder world.
The entrances of the elder world in the beginning
were wide and sure.
It was open. It was given. It was there. Here you are. Here you go, Adam. Read.
And brought immortal fruit.
Immortal fruit. We wasn't going to die. Read.
If then they that live labor not to enter into these straight and vain things.
If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, meaning if you don't partake in all the difficult stuff, being who you are, an Israelite, keeping God's commandments and faith in his son, read,
they can never receive those that are laid up for them.
It's impossible for you to inherit the kingdom of heaven, which is supposed to be yours, but you can't get it unless you do what? You fight. Jump down to verse 20.
Hey, D, you mind if I say something real quick? Hey, on that right there says, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things. Because y'all see the classes coming out from the deacons and the bishops, even to another step, because what's supposed to happen on this earth? What's going to happen? What type of times are we moving to? No, somebody said, you said it. Destruction. Perilous times, meaning it's going to come to a point to where what? Your faith is tried to the point to where you're going to have to what? Die. Death. Watch. I want to get a precept real quick. Give me Matthew 10 and verse 38. Watch this. Because all these, right now, yes, we're going through trials, going through tribulations, but it's going to come a time to where your faith is really going to be tested. And are you going to move to the fire or to the water? Because fire and water, it'll kill you. It'll be put to death. You'll be tempted with death. Are you gonna stay on that straight and narrow path? Watch this. Matthew 10, read verse 38.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy.
Y'all know what the Bible says? It says, he that taketh up not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. What's the cross that we got to take up and follow after Christ? All right. Death. Meaning you gonna stand up as an Israelite. You ain't hiding it. You ain't different. You ain't moving different in the world all the way to the point to where you will die. Read on.
Verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it.
Because Christ is letting you know, he that findeth his life, meaning you want to change, you want to be different because of what the world is saying. You want to try to fit in and blend in with the world. It says, he that findeth his life will lose it. You're going to fall into that fire. You're going to fall into that kingdom, meaning you're going to stay on that straight and narrow path regardless of what comes your way. It says what?
Shall find it.
You're going to find your life. You're going to get that eternal life. You're going to reach that city. That was it.
Right. Go back. 2nd Ezra 7 and verse 20.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 20.
Read. This goes right along with what you were saying.
For there be many that perish in this life.
There's many that die in this life.
Because they despise the law of God that is set before them.
Don't ever get it twisted. Why y'all don't get along? Because you've made a decision and they've made a decision. Pray that there always be some disconnect there because you're not the same. It says, for there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of God that is set before them. Come on.
Verse 21.
Read.
For God hath given straight commandment.
Given what?
Hath given straight commandment.
Straight commandment.
To such as came. What they should do to live, even as they came.
There's no confusion on what to do. When you read the Bible, I'm talking about without being tainted and destroyed by your pastor, your Christian beliefs. When you read the Bible as is, you know what conclusion you're going to come to? You're going to start in Genesis and start with, okay, I need to do what God said to do. By the time you get to the end of the Bible, you're going to be in Revelations 22. Blessed are they that what? Do his command. Ain't going to be no confusion on should you keep the commandments. It's only when that filthy Christian nonsense comes into play. They're the ones that got our people bugged. But when you read as is, Ain't no confusion. It's straight commandments. Read.
What they should do to live,
Uh-huh.
even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment.
What you got to do to what? Avoid punishment. I'm reading, and I read about how hot that fire going to be. The Lord said the elements is going to melt. Carbon monoxide on fire. On fire. Oxygen on fire. That don't even make sense. It's burning. What's burning? Water's burning. I don't know. That's how hot it's going to be. Read.
Verse 22. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him.
Come on.
But spake against him and imagined vain things.
Imagine vain things. Read.
And deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways.
They say, God ain't real. That man, that's superstition. Well, where we come from? I don't know.
See what y'all think.
Verse 24.
Come on.
But his law have they despised.
His law have they despised?
And denied his covenant.
Come on.
And his statutes have not been faithful, and have not performed his works.
This is what's happened in the earth today. Jump to verse 46.
Verse 46.
Read.
I answered then and said.
Mind you, remember, he's speaking to an angel, right? Read.
This is my first and last saying.
Come on.
That it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam.
He's saying, because he's looking at time, history, all that we've gone through. He's like, dang, in this situation, it had been better not to have given the earth to Adam. That's the conclusion Ezra came to. Read.
Or else, when it was given him,
come on,
to have restrained him from sinning.
Lord God, you're God. You could have made it to where he didn't sin. That's where his mind is at. That's how he's thinking, right? Read on.
Verse 47.
Come on.
For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment?
He's looking at what profit is it? Here it is. We live in heaviness, and then afterwards we're going to be punished. He's looking at life in general, like, damn. Read.
Oh, thou Adam.
Oh, Adam. Damn, Adam. Read.
What hast thou done?
What did you do? Read.
For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us?
Jump to 57 now. So he's basically summing everything through all this now. And guess what? It's true. We do. This is how we got to live. And there's no trying to get around it or do something different. There's no other options. It's only this. 57.
Verse 57.
Come on.
Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
This is the condition of the battle. This is life. Yeah, Adam messed up, and guess what? Yeah, you're affected. It's not optional if you're going to partake or not. This is the condition of the battle. Read.
Which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Does that exclude anybody? No. Every man to fight this fight. Now, whether you choose to play by the rules or not is going to decide whether or not you make it or not. But you in the battle. You in the fight. Either you swinging or you get behind whooped. You fighting. Go ahead.
Verse 58.
Come on.
That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said.
Give me Sirach 40. This is the battle. Sirach 40:1. We got to read quick, man. I'm looking at the time, bro. We already in here.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 1.
Read. That great travail is created for every man. The condition of the battle. Great travail is created for every man. Read.
And an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
Life has been, nobody's got a cheat code, y'all. Are you a son of Adam? There's been a heavy yoke that's been made for you. Great travail is set before you and I. Come on.
From the day that they go out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things.
To the day you're born, to the day you die. You're going to what? Experience all of this. Read.
Their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart.
This is what happens in our mind. Yes, mental health is a real thing. It says their imagination of things to come in the day of death trouble their thoughts. This is why our people suffer from the things that they suffer from. You're worried about dying. You're worried about somebody else dying. What's going to happen? Read.
Verse 3. From him that sitteth on the throne of glory unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes.
Read.
From him that weareth purple.
So from him that sitteth on the throne of glory, what is that? Who's that talking about?
Live with your host.
All right. From him that sitteth on the throne of glory, who's that talking about?
It's talking about like people in power, like even the
Thank
rich.
you. Your kings, your leaders, everybody who you think got it good. Listen, you got stars and rich people offing themselves. Over what? Their mind has plagued them because you're not getting around this travail that's been set before us. It says their imagination things to come in the day of death, trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart. From him that sitteth on the throne of glory, read.
Unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes.
Come on.
From him that weareth purple and the crown.
From him that weareth purple and the crown, talking about what? The leaders, the kings, come on.
Unto him that is clothed with a linen frock.
Linen frock, that's a cloak. Him that's clothed with a linen cloak, come on.
Wrath and envy. Trouble and unquietness, fear of death.
What's unquietness? Ari?
Meaning like they're unstable in their mind. Like just like you talking about mental illness.
That's that anxiety that you be feeling. That unquietness is that feeling inside. Here it is. You like you talk about stability. You don't know if you're coming or going. That fear. It says unquietness,
fear of death, and anger.
Read.
And strife. And in the time of rest upon his bed, his night's sleep.
To change it.
A little or nothing is his rest. And afterward he is in his sleep. As in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle.
So go back to 2nd Ezra 7 and 57.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 57.
Come on.
Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
This is the travail that we got to go through, y'all. Read.
Which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Come on.
That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou hast said. But if he get the victory.
But if he gets the victory,
he shall.
If he fights, if he puts up a fight, if he swings back, come on.
He shall receive the thing that I say.
A lot of us got to realize we ain't fighting. You laying down, you getting stomped out. You ain't kicking. You ain't even bit nobody. You realize you in a fight for your life? It says, read.
Verse 59.
Come on.
For this is the life.
This is the life.
Whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life that thou mayest live.
Let's get that. Get Deuteronomy 30 and 19.
No,
what was Moses talking about when he said to choose life?
Scripture after scripture. Never heard this many scriptures in this short time period.
Keeping the commandments. Watch this. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19.
Come on.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
Reading
Come on.
That I have set before you life and death.
I showed you what is necessary to live and what you're going to do to die. Come on.
Blessing and cursing.
Blessing and what?
Blessing and cursing.
You see the options?
Actually open.
You either get blessed or you get what? Blessing and cursing. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 16. Come on.
Therefore.
Do what?
Therefore choose life.
Therefore choose life. Come on.
That both thou and thy seed may live.
Because these curses affect not only you, but our children. Y'all realize how much we've gone through? Give me the first captivity. Let me see if y'all remember. If y'all let's put things into perspective, all that we've been through. While he gets that, give me Exodus chapter 1 and verse 13.
Hit the like button if you're watching.
The book of Exodus chapter 1 and verse 13.
Come on.
And the Egyptians,
show the image, please.
On TikTok.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field.
The Egyptian captivity lasted roughly 400 years. The oppressor was various pharaohs. Ramses II was notably during the time of Moses. We was there around the 15th to 13th century BC. Give me Judges chapter 3. Judges chapter 3 and verse 8. Mesopotamia.
The book of Judges chapter 3 and verse 8.
Come on.
Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of the Cushanithim king of Mesopotamia. And the
Wait, say that again.
Cushanithim.
Cusha who?
The Cushans.
Cusha what? Cusha who? It says, and the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim 8 years. We was in this captivity 8 years, y'all. Read on. Show all the images. This is Mesopotamian captivity.
Verse 9. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel.
We was in this captivity and we cried unto the Most High God, right? We was there from the late 14th century to the 13th century BC. We cried unto the Most High God for deliverance. Read. This is 8 years we was in this captivity. Come on.
Who delivered them? Even Othniel, the son of Kenaz.
Othniel, the son of Kenaz.
Caleb's younger brother.
That was one of the deliverers back then. He rose up to stand up for what? For our nation. Give me the next one. Give me Judges 3 and 12. This is a Moabite captivity. A lot of y'all, see, y'all be feeling for these nations. Y'all realize all these nations have partook in our demise? Somewhere down the line, they did some shady-ish. And guess what? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Get that. Judges 3 and 12.
Judges chapter 3 and verse 12.
Give me the Moabite captivity.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord.
Now wait, this wasn't unwarranted. we wasn't going through these things just because. We did evil in the sight of the Lord. Read.
And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel.
Read.
Because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees.
So he linked up with those two nations, Ammon and Amalek, to come against us, right? Read on.
Verse 14. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years.
We was slaves to Moab for 8 years. Give me the Judges 4. This is another Canaanite captivity that we were part of. Judges chapter 4 and verse 1.
The book of Judges chapter 4 and verse 1.
Read.
And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord.
We did evil in the sight of the Lord. The Lord made good his word. Read.
When Ehud was dead.
Read.
And the Lord sold them.
What?
He sold them
Come on.
into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera.
So this captivity was around the 12th century BC, where we had to serve Canaanites. Give me Judges 6 and 1. We forget about all that we've gone through. It said continuous. It said continuous. Give me Judges 6 and 1.
Judges chapter 6 and verse 1.
This is the Midianite captivity.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord delivered them to the hand of Midian 7 years.
7 years we served the Midianites. Come on.
And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and caves and strongholds.
We was living like Edomites because of the oppression of the Midianites. That wasn't normal for us. Come on.
And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them, and they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth.
This was 7 years we served under them. Now give me the Ammonites. Judges chapter 10. Judges, the 10th chapter. I want the 6th verse. Yeah. So we got, so far, hold on. We got the Egyptian captivity, the Mesopotamian captivity, Moabite captivity, Canaanite captivity, Midianite captivity, Ammonite captivity. Read that. Judges 10 and 6.
The book of Judges chapter 10 and verse 6.
We ain't learned yet. Judges 10 and 6.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord.
Come on.
And served Baalim.
The same thing's happening right now. White Jesus is being served amongst our people. No matter where you go. I went to the blackest side of the earth,
slavery,
Africa. And who were they serving? White Jesus. Read.
And served Baalim and Ashtoreth and the gods of Syria and the gods of Sidon and the gods of Moab and the gods of the children of Ammon.
Come on.
And the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord and served not him.
Now notice what we was picking up, different things during these different captivities. We was picking up these doctrines, these lies, right? Read on.
Verse 7.
Come on.
And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and into the hands of the children of Ammon. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel.
Come on.
18 years, all the children of Israel that were on the other side Jordan in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead.
18 years we served the Ammonites. Give me 1 Samuel 4. 18 years. And this was from the about the 11th century BC. 1 Samuel 4:1. Philistine oppression.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 1.
Come on.
And the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle and pitched beside Ebenezer. And the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines. And they slew of the army in the field about 4,000 men.
Why would we get smitten before anyone? Because we sinned against the Most High God. Y'all see? Do y'all not see the example that we have set before us?
So, yeah, that's why I go through all this. Why we as a community feel like, well, this is why. Because we sin against God. You know what I'm saying? It's right there in the Bible. A lot of times you don't learn that in church. There ain't too many preachers I ever met or known or ever heard or found on social media that speak on that particular topic in the Bible. You mostly hear about prosperity preaching, all that type of stuff. How to get some money in your pocket, which is important. But if you take care of everything else you're supposed to be taken care of, I'm pretty sure everything else will fall in line. You know, that's just where I learned the Bible at, one of the places, and how the method I go about learning. It's actually scripture, you know, they give you the scripture. It's right there. You get to go look it up, read it for yourself. You know, they carry a dialogue with it, so you get to follow along. And it's a real learning environment, man, for our people. So, you know, you learn a lot about that Bible, the same Bible that you thought you knew about, you know, all your life, coming up under these pastors in the church, man. And, you know, as y'all can see, them pastors ain't turning out to be what they're supposed to be. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I'm just showing you it's another route, you know, to actually learn the right thing, the truth, you know, that God truly wanted you to know. You know, I ain't saying that I'm perfect. I'm just saying I'm on the way to being perfect, because it's possible. Actually learn that in the Bible as well. You will never strive to do nothing if you don't, you don't know what you're running after. So, you know, it's a good thing to know what God expects of you. And it's a good thing to know how to achieve it. You know, and have instructions and leadership that can teach you that, you know, and show you the correct way and the correct method of doing things. All these pagan holidays, people celebrating, man, and brushing it off like it's okay and it's all good. That's another thing, man. Those are considered abominations, to God. So it ain't just something you can brush off easily. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people brush that stuff off like it ain't nothing, and it's crazy, man. On pagan holidays, you worshiping the devil. You actually worshiping the devil, and it means something. A lot of people like to act like life don't mean nothing. They'll deal with it when God show up, and that's the wrong time to want to deal with it. It's gonna be too late at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I was just here, man. We getting set up to talk about it. This is the podcast to talk about it. We finna open up the doors. We finna get the feet moving. Finna go to running hard, man.
Stop being stupid. The podcast. Live with your host. Good folk.
But we're gonna be topping on, tipping in and touching on different topics such as biblical content as well as current events out there. I was looking at something else today too, man. I'm gonna let y'all check out. Let me get to that. Let me pull that up as well. Pull that up. Pull something up for you in the meantime. I'll hear a little bit of raving music, man. Now, let me go to this story, man. This is a crazy story as well, man. We're gonna go to this right now.
Can't be on you, gotta be in you.
Complete failure of the system.
We water boys. We water boys.
Welcome to 11 Alive Uninterrupted, a program that explores the pulse of Atlanta culture. I'm your host, Naima Abdullahi. For the next half hour, we're giving you an in-depth look at Atlanta's water boys culture. You've probably seen young kids and teens selling water bottles at busy intersections, but do you know the backstory behind this long-time Atlanta tradition? From the roadside hustle to the viral moments online, this special report will unravel the entrepreneurial spirit of Atlanta youth, the safety concerns, and the resources the teens need to not only survive, but to also thrive. To get started, let's introduce you to 3 teens behind Water Boys in the Hood, a brand with a purpose, and it shows why their hustle is so much bigger than the bottle.
Well, this the culture of them, like selling water.
One of my best friends told me about it. That's what he was doing, selling water.
You got it or you don't. It can't be on you, gotta be in you.
From Buckhead to the west side, it's been 9 years since Amir started selling water bottles.
Well, when I first came a water boy, I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and I was with 3 of my friends. I was like, we should go sell water.
Serge and Makai joined in, making it their after-school activity. They hustle so hard to provide.
It's way bigger than just bottle. Their hustle, Water Boys story is bigger than just a bottle because it's just what it is, a life resource. Water is a life resource. Everybody needs water to live.
What sets this trio apart from the other Water Boys, they transitioned from making street sales to building a brand. As a former water boy himself, Greg Williams knows that the difference between a bust and business is mentorship. If water is a life resource, what do the boys need to nourish their mind and their imagination?
Education. Water is a life resource. So in that sense, I feel like education is a thing that they can nourish their minds and their mindset.
We water boys. We water boys. All we had to do was add this in the hood.
They did.
Water boys already.
A notorious brand is really Atlanta youth's way of finding a way.
My dream is to be like successful, so I don't have to work as hard at work and just give back. And I'll be like free, like just life, like living free, like just happy.
So what's up?
Coming up after the break, our special report continues with a mother's plea.
We should have to remember him like this.
How Mika Pless's son lost his life over a $10 dispute and why she says
Most
their
of the time,
story
that's
is
how
harder
it
than
is.
slides.
Sad story. Most of the time, sad story.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining our special edition of 11 Alive Uninterrupted, Bigger Than the Bottle. For many teens, some were in Atlanta Atlanta is a side hustle to make ends meet. Tragically, for 18-year-old Jelani, that hustle came to an abrupt end in the summer of 2020. Earlier this year, we sat down with Mika Pless, his mother, who says the pain of losing her son is still so heavy 3 years later. Mika now wants city leaders and Atlanta youth to hear, hoping his son's legacy will ultimately change lives.
It's just a lot. It shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't have to remember him like this. He should be here. And the crazy part is, this is his old room.
What was the calendar day that changed your life?
June 27, 2020.
What time did you get the phone call?
2:19.
And since that day, a lot of your habits haven't changed, right?
You know, I still wake up at 5 something in the morning as if he's here.
What's Jelani's story?
That he was a high school graduate from Douglas High School. He had a full-time job and he had a side hustle, and his life ended from trying to sell water. All over $10. No parent should have to go through what I'm going through. Like, that's the worst pain ever having to bury your child. Your child is supposed to bury you. You're not supposed to bury your child. And he was my first and oldest. Everything that I put in that backpack that day before he walked out the door is still in the backpack. He bought that last bottle for the case of water. The last thing Jelani bought was a case of water.
That's the receipt.
And this is the change from it. These are the shoes that I put in there.
The one he picked up in the morning when he came back.
This is his work jacket that's always in there. This is his Gatorade that I put in there.
The morning of as well.
I think this is actually the one this is the last thing he bought.
Why did you decide to keep all these items?
Because it's the last thing that's the last interaction we had that day. And then that's the last thing that he purchased.
What would you say to Jelani if he could hear you right now? In the efforts you still push for his legacy?
It's hard. I love him and I wish he would have just came home.
Can I give you a hug?
He knew there was nothing I wouldn't do for him. And I just hate that he's not here. I have to go sit at a cemetery. Like, I'm just looking at his home.
It takes a village. We're shining a light on a program that is stepping up to make a difference and save young lives. Gary Davis Sr. has been doing just that for more than a decade since launching his program, Next Level Boys Academy.
If I'm in here 5 minutes.
From boys to young men, Gary Davis Sr. says he orchestrates a life-saving journey.
Well, even back then, I saw a need that our young men was crying out with their mouth shut. And I decided to put a after-school program in place for young men only.
Next Level Boys Academy focuses on showing the next generation the difference between chasing a bag and ending up in one.
I think by the time they get to us, they've been so traumatized and victimized and socialized and all of these things that they're so far in it, they're so deep in it, there's only so much we could do. And so in order to come to us, first you got to want it.
They lean towards, he's become the shoulder to lean on.
There are not many places for young men to express how they feel outside of the music studio. And so I knew that from being a father of 3 young men, that they like to be able to express themselves and not in a judgmental space.
He says there's prevention and then there's intervention, like this moment during a Saturday session at the Trap Music Museum.
And I'm uncomfortable. I'm sitting on here. You mean to tell me my bed right here? They have to touch it. They have to see it. They have to feel it in order to believe that it could really happen. And that demonstration was one of those things where, hey man, listen, what your mom is trying to put in place for you is going to prevent you from here or the cemetery.
Gary Davis says it's a matter of making them feel heard so they can feel visible in a world that they have the power to change.
You have value, you have purpose, and your destiny is right in front of you.
All the time,
and you
man.
don't have to go out like that. That's all I ask. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Next Level Boys Academy is part of Atlanta's Year of the Youth initiative, a year-long effort addressing the needs of the city's youth.
I'm telling you, I'm not asking.
Tense interactions.
Put your hands on your back.
And the need to bridge the gap.
You took it to this level.
11 Alive explores the relationship between youth selling water bottles and local law enforcement after the break.
So rather than the police officers approaching and giving the kids an opportunity to learn the law, you know what I'm saying? You knew what you was going to arrest the kids for or what you was going to approach the kids about. I feel like you being the adult and the officer, the professional person in the matter, you should have been approaching the kids, and you was doing it over time. I feel like you could have helped them get within the law. Only thing they needed was a permit, but kids coming from the hood and being 7 and 8 years old, they're not gonna know anything about that. Only thing they was knowing, thinking was, I'm a hustler, sell me some water and provide. So my thing is, if you're an officer, you being a police officer, when you think, if I was an officer, I would have thought, well, rather than going, I know what they doing it for, I know why they doing it, I would have went and, offer the information, here, won't you get your parents, or won't you take the steps to go down and get a permit, or I may have shown you how to go get a permit, you know what I'm saying, or created a program within the police department rather than running out there arresting kids and, body slamming kids and changing their whole life by giving them criminal records for selling water. So you could have been the cop of the month, a cop of the year, just by creating a new program and going and helping the kids, learn how to get a permit, learn how to do business, just like this lady is this in this video I'm gonna show you. This story turned real ugly real fast. Started out a good, it turned ugly. Check the video out.
Welcome back. I'm Naima Abdullahi. Kids and teens sell water bottles at busy intersections, but
numerous records to find out what's happening when Atlanta's so-called water boys are met with officers asking them to leave. This is what it looks like when Atlanta police interact with teens selling water bottles on street corners.
Put your hands on your back. No. Put your hands on your back, man. Man, get on here.
The first incident, a 19-year-old with a water cooler refusing to leave.
You took it to this level. Y'all take it to the level. Let me go. Hey, let me go.
In the second video, a minor offers to get up and leave the street corner.
My response is a complete failure of the system.
Civil rights attorney Gerald Griggs says these types of interactions can be so damaging in the long run.
Let me go. Just let me go. I right what y'all doing right now. You on my life.
This particular young person is telling the law enforcement you're ruining my life, and they actually are, because if he's charged with obstruction, felony obstruction, any of the other offenses, is going to go on his record, and then he won't be able to do the thing.
I was speaking on, a little earlier, it's crazy because you could have created a program and actually went and the kids could have learned something. They could have learned how to pull a permit from the city. You know what I'm saying? You could have been the avenue for that. But rather than do that to kids that look just like you, I see all these black officers just attacking, man. They worse than the other kind, It's crazy, man. Real crazy. You rather
gone left real
Absolutely. All it would have taken was a struggle, a way of tasing, and ultimately a potential police involved incident.
Put your hands on your back.
Not answer. I can't do nothing about that. Can I? Right or wrong? You don't need nobody to take me to the house. I'm telling you. I just told you. I can call myself.
He was trying to comply. He, gave his name. He exercised his right to not have to turn it over, because again, he doesn't have to do any of that stuff. He just has to
hit the like button
and respond if they arrest
him. I'll be with the podcast.
What did you think about the bystander saying, stop resisting? Stop resisting.
We're going to have to tell individuals how to survive a police-involved encounter. The police should be able to do that. The police de-escalate.
In Atlanta, anyone selling food or beverages needs a permit. Viral moments on social media have sparked debates about safety for commuters who get approached aggressively, and safety for youth who are unaccompanied on busy intersections. Gerald Griggs says these incidents start a cycle of placing youth's names in the system, which leads to bigger problems.
If I'm going to get arrested for selling water for $1, I might as well sell something else for large amounts of money.
Oh, man.
My life.
Nobody wants to become a hashtag.
Do not kick me. Let me go. No, man, don't kick me. Let me go. No, man, do not kick me. Let me go. We good.
We were the video from APD after reading through reports which included keywords such as water boy and water sales. APD declined multiple requests.
People from this city have seen every type of success in every shade of people, so they know they can be anything.
From Atlanta youth to a hometown success story, an Atlanta's city council member is leading by example. Antonio Lewis says he's walked a mile in the kids' shoes and understands their journey.
Antonio,
I see them taking care of the park. I see them closing the park down.
but growing up, he says he didn't have the privilege of childhood.
And I'm a perfect example of it. What I mean by that is a 2-year-old. When I was 2 years old, my mother was shot over 30 times in this city, murdered in Dixie Hill. And so my father in and out of prison.
When life handed him nothing but hard times, he found different avenues to put money in his pocket.
Growing up, I sold peanut butter. I remember going to different malls across the city. I remember going to different retail stores.
When Antonio Lewis sees teens on Atlanta street corners selling water bottles, he sees himself.
It's your job to channel that hope into the right things. And so Atlanta as a city, it's my job to go and find them.
Yeah.
I think all of them one of them. You know how they say you got to be one of the ones? I think they all, and this is the city that they all think they're one of the ones.
The city of Atlanta, with the help of Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, launched the Year of the Youth Initiative, which we got a chance to ask him about during our televised 11 Alive Youth Town Hall.
And one of the things that really does separate the youth in Atlanta, whether they live in Bankhead or Buckhead, is opportunities and resources. So how do we bridge that gap?
We're trying to give them good after school programming and then some of the older kids, giving them jobs.
As the citywide initiative provides resources, Antonio Lewis says a helping hand can create the right mindset.
Getting how you live different in the city, right? So to me, getting how you live might be pull up every day until they hire you.
He wants to see Atlanta youth live with the privilege of childhood and reach their potential.
Young people from this city have seen every type of success in every shade of people, so they know they can be anything.
Yeah.
Still ahead in our special edition of 11 Alive Uninterrupted, how 2 community leaders have been deemed guardian angels for Atlanta youth.
Stop being stupid, the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back and joining us. When it comes to Atlanta teens, 2 community members are making it their personal mission to meet ATL youth where they are, with the help of their program, Helping Empower Youth. Casey Benning shows us how she and Coach Boyd are unlocking kids' potentials and nurturing their minds.
Please be safe. Make good choices.
For Casey Benning and Mark Boyd, it's personal.
I want to stand in the gap for them.
If you're born into poverty in Atlanta, there is only a 4% chance of escaping it,
Wow.
according to the Atlanta Wealth Building
Right up the
Initiative.
road.
For us, it really was about bringing awareness and attention to what was really happening versus just moving them off the corners.
Just like this.
Carefully developed Coach Boyd, who the boys refer to as Coach, to recruit and keep the kids engaged.
From everything that happened on the outside to everything that's going to happen here in Miss Katherine Johnston's space.
Miss Katherine Johnston's home is the same spot where the 92-year-old woman was shot and killed by police serving a no-knock at wrong address.
You were the first here today.
Today, the Hay program shows how a once tragic location is a safe space for the next generation.
With Miss Casey, like he said, she like our mama.
What's the problem?
She done taught us about like how to build big businesses. Like, you know, like in the world, nobody else will never tell you anything. Like,
While Casey shapes minds, Coach Boyd is working on growing retention. For the former Marine, service now looks like this, helping keep boys from joining gangs or dropping out from school. For them, this is a no judgment zone.
where we was raised, we really didn't know proper grammar, or we really didn't talk to people. So like they helped us out a lot too.
In the midst of the George Floyd protests, Casey stepped in to escalate tensions between the
Activated protection mode. Because so many times young people, I found myself digging my heel.
in Atlanta youth selling water bottles know there's a story behind it that the child is not responsible for.
I think it's bigger than a bottle. And so I don't think it was ever about the bottle itself. It was, we see what poverty looks like in the city now. We can't.
And to love. Most importantly, love.
It's important, I know for me personally, to be a softer place for them, even when I have to tell them the hard truth.
And more in-depth coverage of Atlanta youth can be found on our website, 11alive.com. We'll
Shout out to 11 News Channel. Yes, sir. Wow, man. The Water Boys of Atlanta, man. You know, when I first heard about them, you know, I heard a lot of bad things, man, but it's good to know the backstory on things. They didn't start out with the bad publicity, man. And actually, when you delve into it, you can see who was the bad guy. And that's crazy. You can see that the police ain't always what they're supposed to be, man. They can come in and disrupt the whole situation, man, and make things worse. You know, when they could have came with a whole different approach. You know what I'm saying? That's wild, man. If you're supposed to be helping the community, you should find the best way to try to help the community rather than go in just aggressive and attacking all the time. You know, you can instigate a situation and it can turn out to be something that you really ain't looking forward to dealing with in the future, you know, and that's on the police side as well as civilian. But it is what it is, man. We're going to keep moving. I wanted to touch on the story, man, that I saw as well. And it was real crazy, man. I was just wanting to put that out and see what I know about it. Because I think my boy Willie Williams was talking about it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm shout out to Willie Williams, Florida boy, down south, you know what I'm saying? I'm more so in your Central Florida area. I'm in the swamp up here with them gators, you know what I'm saying? I used to be a gator. I'm a buffalo now. We got a few buffalo around here, you know what I'm saying, in Florida. That there, you know, in Prince Parish. But I don't know if they were shipped in here or not. I don't know. But it don't matter. We got them. I'm one of them. Florida to Colorado pipeline. That is bullshit. But yeah, man, y'all check this out. It's crazy right here. Crazy little story. Willie was up on this story here, man. Y'all check this out. Pretty sure kicking with old Willie Williams over there at the Willie show. Willem Abari show for a minute, man.
I don't want to say that it's not. So you say no, Willie the first one? She is the first one. Her right here is the first report.
Let me see.
Out here,
I don't know what's going on.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. This is a full outright. What is that word that he had to use? Discriminatory. This can build a business and shit like that. Oh, they can drink all the Coronas. Oh, they can drink all of that. Them 3-4 cases of Corona. We don't care nothing about that. That reefer that we can. You know?
Oh man,
y'all smoke. But now, if let's say if you was like, if you was like the electrician on the job, or you was like the plumber,
I did a part of AC,
like the landscaping dudes on the job, the roofers on the same job, y'all can smoke. I want y'all to really think about this right here. If you was any other part of that construction job, you can smoke. It's just the ones who bill can't smoke. So the plumbers, the electricians, they can blow. They can blow all day long. The roofers, the ones who are going to put like the roof on top, they could blow. Not the ones who put the building together. That's what's up. That's what's up. Moving right along. Ain't gonna be much. Hold you. This is your lawmakers. You can't smoke